What's Morales Black Film and TV? So it's the storytellers behind this animated film. You know, it's not that often we see Black storytellers, you know, rare in between. So like, talk to me about how did you guys get involved with the project?
So at the time that Soul was, at least I heard about Soul, I was working on Toy Story 4. And so the entire story team department gets a chance to go to these screenings. So I'd seen the second screening and I was like, this is something I've never seen before. And the exciting potential of being a Black main character was something that Yates and I were like, we really want to be a part of this. So we approached Pete and we were like, we would love to be part of this show and help make it as authentic as possible.
Mm-hmm. And everybody else want to comment?
Yeah, I think it was like I think initially I was pretty excited about it and just wanted to be involved any way possible. I think even before I came on as a story artist, I was part of the internal culture trust. So just like contributing ideas in that way. But then coming onto it is just a different experience because you get to put far more of yourself into it. And yeah, it was pretty enjoyable.
So, but for everybody who can answer this, obviously when you're hearing a story and you're creating, and I saw some of the stuff you guys were talking about yesterday, what's the challenge of obviously taking what 3 directors want and then incorporating what all 3 of you can put together?
Just in terms of like collaborating with one another?
Yeah, it's, you know, when there's too many cooks in the kitchen.
Yeah, I mean, usually, sometimes the fun thing about that is that best idea rises to the top. You know, the great thing about working with everybody sort of at Pixar is that everybody, it's a very collaborative business and it's a very collaborative effort on the part of everybody. And because our kind of approach is that good ideas come from everywhere, it really means that everybody actually, in fact, has a very equal footing and an equal playing field when we talk about ideas. And so that really means that it really is the best idea that makes it, you know. There's not like an assigned value based on who you are or what your position is. It's literally about the idea itself, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, and just to be clear, it was Pete Docter and Kemp Powers, so just 2. Not 3 directors. So it was those 2. And they worked together very well. So.
Mm-hmm. And then, you know, when you have as many characters that you have in there, when you have the Jamies and the Angelas and the David, you know, do you think about like, you know, the characters are already set before the voices, the actors are on board, but once you know they're in there, how much goes into what you want them to say? Do you add more or less to their voices?
Yeah, I think it definitely affects the character. I think a lot of times we have an idea of it, but then once you know, like, oh, this is the actor playing that role, it adjusts that character significantly sometimes and sometimes a little bit less. But there's definitely like rewriting of dialogue to make it sound like more in their voice. Sometimes it's bigger changes of like the whole character kind of clicks into place once we have that specific role. But yeah, it's definitely a turning point in the production.
Yeah, it was really cool when Jamie Foxx came on the project. I think he was the first person we cast. And to hear him as Joe and hear him perform as Joe was such a huge, you know, such a huge win. He has so much personality, so much charisma. He was very specific about what he brought to Joe and who he thought Joe was. And at that point, you know, every layer is another addition of just like, who is this character? What was his life? And so Jamie was like a huge part of that, which was really neat to see.
Mm-hmm. And for Michael and Afton, what did you learn, obviously, from working on this project that's going to help you out with the next project you want to come along? Obviously, this is new. This is being marketed as the first Pixar film with a Black lead. You know, what do you take away from this in terms of your careers and just the work involved? Because obviously people are going to look at this and, you know, for myself, I'm always looking behind who else is behind the scenes besides Kemp, you know, and to see you guys there, I'm sure there's a lot of people that's going to be enthused that there are Black animators.
Yeah, I think this is the second project I worked on at Pixar. So it was still pretty green when I came on, and just seeing a director like Pete Docter, who has done several films, but still very open to hearing ideas, really resonated with me, and just showed type of true leadership where you're not afraid to get advice from every direction, and very much upfront about he doesn't know what he doesn't know, and he wants to be a sponge. He wants to hear everything that's going to take to make Joe better and authentic. And that's a kind of director that I'd like to, you know, a kind of artist I'd like to aspire to be as I move forward in my career.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think a lot of learning from Pete of just like surrounding yourself with people that know more than you do and doing your research on stuff. And I think just being open to listening. Like there's one way to just ask people like, oh, is this okay? Is this not okay? And just to say that you did it, but to actually listen to the feedback that you're given and make changes, I think was a big thing to watch and see him do.
Mm-hmm. Before I let you go, if you could say one thing as far as one particular scene that we should be looking out for, what would it be? Quickly.
Oh, man.
I don't know, there's one scene. This movie is constantly surprising.
Yeah. I would say just like all the Soul World stuff is just like really amazing technically and just like visually. Just pay attention to that.
Yeah, for me, anything with the counselors or with Terry, their animation is so incredible and fun and groundbreaking. That stuff just blew my mind when I saw it.
So to go the other side for the human world, I'd say the barbershop scene. There's a lot of wins, and that one I think is one of them. A nice win for the culture, and that was one that we're really excited to see come together. And I'm excited for audiences to see.
Well, folks, it's good talking to you. It's good seeing you. Keep doing what you do. We're here to support. Stay safe.
Thank you.
Thanks, Wilson.
Thank you.